Welcome back to the Martin Liedtke channel. I'm glad you could be here today, guys, to witness in awe of these fantastic images and pictures that I'm going to share with you today of the great expositions and World's Fairs. And I'm going to ask some questions about this because I think this is cluey. According to the official world history, the World's Fairs were the first electrified cities in the world, shifting this realm into the electrified age. Isn't that super interesting? And making these World's Fairs and expositions that are not around anymore, or happening anymore, I should say, change the entire realm, apparently. Now, I've got my suspicions, deep set suspicions, that over the last 10 years of research, that these expositions were already there, as was the infrastructure for electricity. Now, we're going to look into the illumination ordered them. I'm not surprised, coming out of the dark ages, the worlds of horse and carty, and then suddenly the worlds gets electrified, when before that period they were all gaslit, like literally. So here's the Rainbow City, the beautiful illuminations of Buffalo, which was absolutely multicolored, technicolored lights illuminating waterways with different colors. So I imagine that Tartaria was a technicolor wonderland. And these images will give you a real sense for what it must have been like to walk through these expositions. You can see the gondolas and the Phoenician theme. The waterways would have all been illuminated as well. Just absolutely fantastic. So, early World's Fairs used experimental power systems, by all accounts, like the famous AC power for illumination in example Chicago. And there was in place apparently a hydroelectric plant, as you know, Lake Erie near Niagara Falls, which powered Rainbow City, the first electrified city on Earth, and its beautiful exposition in 1901, right at the turn of the century. So look at that. You can imagine what it was like to stand there and have a little beer and look over the illuminated world. It must have been, if they haven't seen electricity before, absolutely mind blistering. And not only that, this was to get people used to, apparently, the idea of having an electrified world, because apparently, according to the official narrative, people were a bit suspect and a bit spooked by electricity. So they had to be, it had to be ushered in, and they used these places to do it. So they showcased an emerging technology that was used later on a larger scale, as you know, once they found the way to distribute the power from the power plants. So in 1850 to 1880s, for example, we'll go from that period, and 30 years there, coming up into the latter half of the 1800s. There was apparently limited experimental lighting being used. For example, in Crystal Palace in London in 1851, they say it was gaslit, like the whole world was gaslit, but they introduced to the public experimental electricity devices as early as 1851. But we've all seen Frankenstein, which was written in 1812 and 1812. And as you know, they use electricity and Tesla coils and all sorts of things in that book. So there's that. So in the 1890s, they used apparently incandescent bulbs, the incandescent world, and dynamos, free energy, was becoming more widely available, and making this idea of an electrified world and cities much more viable, allowing small scale electrified cities to be taken out into the entire realm and electrified it. And it all apparently started here. So making them really, really important. Paris. So think about Paris, 1889, the Universal Expositions, the famous Eiffel Tower. And you may remember I've shown these images. There were laser beams of light shooting out at the top of the Eiffel Tower, and they had amazing major electrical displays, including arc lamps and incandescently lit boulevards. Look how beautiful that is. Wow. Chicago, 1893, the Columbian Exposition, as you know, the first fair fully electrified in the realm. And this put apparently electricity on the world stage. And this was, Chicago, the tipping point for humanity. As you may know, Westernhouse and Tesla's AC systems won the contract this time over Edison to illuminate the first city, the first illuminated place to such an extent on Earth. And this is the Chicago World's Fair. It was opened by President Grover Cleveland, which a president I've never actually heard of. Grover Cleveland, who pressed a red button, lighting up hundreds of thousands of bulbs. The crowd apparently gasped for air with the sight. I can only imagine all of the arrivals seeing this electrified places for the first time. Known as white cities were the fairgrounds, and fairgrounds like Luna Park in New York and many other fairgrounds throughout the world were called white cities. These were illuminated with hundreds of thousands of incandescent lamps, so they say. So apparently these events proved AC systems were a viable way of distributing electricity from one place to another. But we all know the narrative of Edison and Tesla by now, don't we? So that little war of electricity went on and was won by a certain player in the game. So Buffalo, oh my God, Buffalo used colored light bulbs. Just mind-blowing. So can you imagine walking through Buffalo 1901 and all of the lights are just all multicolored, and it's not that nasty ass neon lights which sear your brain. I mean, beautiful lighting that enriches your soul. Look at all these gondolas, just like the Grand Canal in Venice with the basilicas, just copying Venetian Venice, aren't they, with all of these World's Fairs. So yeah, this was the first major demonstration of the use of long distance power transmission, electric to be able to be generated and used and distributed widely, so they say. I say, or conclude for this post, when we have a look at a lot more images now though, that I think the World's Fairs were already there. And I think that these photographs that exist in of an electrified world is the way the world was in Tartaria, with these beautiful lights, beautiful cities, which these photographs just bring to life in an absolutely fantastic way, just mesmerizing actually. So I imagine that Tartaria was Technicolor, just like the Celestine prophecy in color, just like the Wizard of Oz, the Emerald Palace. Look at that, just like laser beams. So yeah, they also were using to a wide scale in a lot of the cities, which they don't tell you about, arc lamps, giant arc lamps that rose high above the cities, illuminating them all from one source. They haven't got them anymore. They would have been fantastic, especially with the way light pollution is. Now, did any of you notice that when everyone was on lockdown at the beginning of this decade, that they replaced all of the world lighting from sodium, nice gentle sun color yellow, to sear your brain LCD lighting? I mean, the entire realm. I mean, from Australia to the US to Britain to Europe, and another electromagnetic technology was rolled out as well. But this one, the changing in the lighting, is definitely making a difference to this realm. And I'm not really liking the old LCD lighting. It sears your brain, doesn't it? But look at this beautiful lighting and incandescent lighting. So yeah, who's producing hundreds of thousands of light bulbs? Osman must have had an amazing factory going at that period in time to make so many light bulbs. Now remember, I've shown evidence of light bulbs lasting one from San Francisco that's still been lit since the Edwardian period. It's been lit for over 100 years. These old technologies and old light bulbs lasted forever, for decades and decades. And they had to get rid of them because, like Edison said with the electricity to JP Morgan, he's, where are we going to put the meters? How are we going to charge them? Oh no, we can't give them free electricity. We need to limit it and say that we're generating and it's all rare. And then we can charge them the earth and enslave them into a utilities enslavement for the rest of this century, which they did and is still ongoing. The narrative of shortages and all the rest of it. Remember, it's just scarcity is to scare a city. Scarcity, they tell you right there. The world before, I imagine, was clean, healthy, people living long, long, long lives. And the things that we have to put up with today were just not even happening. So imagine just a beautiful illuminated sky to get around. So, you know, the narrative, the gaslighting narrative, some lady or gentleman came around with a light or a flame, if you like, and lit up 1 billion street lamps of the world every single night, and then outed them all at the end of the day because the whole world was gaslit, and they had to, never mind the distribution of getting whatever gas source, and then into the gas plants and the gasometers, and then to the, you know, to the street lights, and then you had to light them because in their infinite wisdom they've got the industrial revolution done and dusted, they've got thermodynamics done and dusted, and steam trains in the underground, but they couldn't get an ignition start lamp. That, it just says to me that that bullshit never happened, because that, you know, all you need is a little spark and then the light goes on. Fucking hell, that must have been really difficult to envision that. Anyway, some of these visions of the expositions are absolutely fantastic. And just imagine, whew, that's the time to go to the expos at night when all of the lights are on. So illumination of the streets, as you can see, Paris had these, places like Seattle and other American cities had arc lamps, halogen or giant lights at the top of towers. That would help nighttime balloon travel for balloons coming in, because the whole place, the whole port here, you can see, is illuminated. And you can imagine it casting some deep shadows, though. And as you can see here, the port of New York had a giant tower with I wonder where that tower is, and a giant illumination on the top. Obviously electricity, isn't it? I don't think they got 1,000 candles. These lighthouses, they're definitely a mystery. The Tartarian buildings are just unbelievable, aren't they? The narrative that they had these, you know, giantly magnified gas or incandescent later, but I think it was all electrified, just like they are now. Electrified towers, electrified lighthouses, and the arches that you see. Never seen too many of these photographs, but the arches of the cities and expositions, etc., fully electrified. How are they generating the electricity and distributing it all the way to there if they haven't got an infrastructure at the time for electricity? Pray tell, anybody? The Times, fully electrified with one of those beautiful towers full of antiquitech, landing platform for balloons and laser beams. And them lights could also guide a balloon, like into a port, because if you're coming in a balloon just over the sea or over the lakes, for example, you've just been across the lakes and you're zooming into, say, Chicago, and then you just catch one of those lights and just follow straight into the landing portal, which is what I think was going on. And these torsion field physics sort of technologies with, the double torus engineered in the Four Angels technology. So you sit in this space and it's just like an orgonite pyramid. This will invigorate you and have some healing properties. And they use these technologies in their exposition suites, if you want to call them that, exposition halls, where you can see the display cabinets. In this case, they're just showing a load of crucifixes. That's really, really weird why they would have a case full of crucifixes. And notice these plaques and signs completely blank, all of them. Again, the Phoenician blank plaques with no information. I'm really curious why we'd even bother putting it there in the first place if you're not going to bother with any information. Check this clock. Absolutely fantastic. And it's got bells either side. Oh, yeah. The hourglass at the top, very Phoenician. Double Tauruses opposing one another. A clock with some sort of things there, don't know. And double bells. Ding dong bell. And we got a sundial, which would be the real clock. That just shows you the Earth's flat. Two other clocks at the same time as well. So that's another psyop, dragging us forward on the arrow of time, ever forward, ever aging us. I think that is a psyop that can be reversed, and then aging in that way is not really a necessity. That is a program that you can get out of. So here is the Paris Exposition. As I said, this place was fully electrified in the beautiful tower, the Eiffel of Tower. I was electrified. This is the Palace of Electric, the Electrified Palace. And this entire building is lit up at night with all of the fountains in different colors. Just, I can imagine it being quite breathtaking. Look at that. Look at all the detail in the lawn as well. The attention to detail in this, and they look really dirty as well. I know this is colorized, but you can see there's some sort of weathering taking place. Full of Phoenician statues, the quadriga over the big giant arched window, the Phoenicians coming out of the waterfalls, the mermaids. Beautiful lawn. Can you imagine? There's only a few people here, though, isn't there? They say millions went through, or a few million. 2, 3. There's only like 4 or 5 that day. Didn't sell too many tickets that day, did they? But look at that. Can you imagine witnessing it? Everyone's so well turned out as well. Beautiful. Fine clothes. As you can see here, can you imagine it? And it's all Phoenician, as you can see. The Phoenician lion and the water. It was the watery theme. Look at the scale. Look at the scale of these. These pillars, a couple of them are still in existence in Paris, but these ones here, I think this is Madison Avenue, these giant, in New York, these giant pillars, if you like, if you want to call them that. They're anomalous. There's rooms inside them. What they are, one can only guess. The giant American flag. But again, it's exactly the same as everywhere else in the world with the Phoenician theme. Exactly the same architectural style. The world over. Heavy on the statues, heavy on the waterways, heavy on the palaces. Just like in Venice, just like in their home world, their watery home world, which would look exactly like this, because that's what they've done. The Phoenicians, they've replicated it. Look at this. Right, we got 2 onion domes, Moorish domes, either side of this tower here, and it's just like a pyramid ever decreasing, and also with technology. Not too many people around there either that day, is there? Buffalo, and let's have a look at this. Palm trees. Okay, I think this one is probably the. Yep, they're in later Edwardian clothes. So this would be the Pan Pacific Exposition in Chicago. And as you can see, people are coming up to like the Edwardian clobber. Getting more 1920s looking. Look at the palm trees. Look at how much algae and shit is on these pots. It's all weathered, isn't it? Considering it was there for a tomato season apparently, and then all gone again. But that just shows you that it's just a narrative cover story. They covered up the whole of history. And these, really important. So later on, Electric is obviously up and running and plants are everywhere. By 1937, got a Hoover Dam and everything else, everything's up and running. What a beautiful photograph. Maybe it was a hazy day, but it gives you a real sense of what it must have been like to sit there and just look around. Even in the modern day, with all what we've got to apparently put us in awe, like giant cities and skyscrapers, I don't think it affects you in the same way. Although they are pretty like spectacular, they're not soul enriching skyscraper skylines, guys. These are enriching. Look at that, Paris. Oh no, is that an American flag? Yeah, America. Okay. So yeah, it's literally for programming as well, you see, because they tell you what different countries are like and different peoples are like. But look at this inauguration of the hydroelectric plant. Look at the age of that building, the old Tartaria mud flood building with all big red granity stone, making this thing flood proof. They got the Niagara Falls and the plants and all of the tunnel systems and everything that goes along with that, which is a vlog on its own. I have covered it in the past, and many others have covered that. But yeah, hydroelectric, absolutely amazing. That powered Buffalo. Look at that, guys. Can't say it's not breathtaking. And this is part of the Atritundo area of San Francisco, Pacific. And it looks like the old world to me because that's why it is the old world. Court of Honor, and this is Japanese and the British buddying up together, apparently doing an exposition. But look at that. Look at the effort involved in all of that architecture right in front of you there. There's a squillion pieces, guys. They put it all together, apparently, and then it all goes again. Makes zero sense to man or beast. It's just silly. This world was there. It was a technicolored, beautiful dream world with a higher vibrational experience. Every day, you didn't have to worry about all of what people worry about today. What would people do today? Just think about what they're going to eat, go to the store, have a little think, maybe walk the dog, do a little bit more thinking, maybe potter around. Whiz bang, there's another day gone. What did you just achieve? Well, no, really, it's just the same thing. Good idea to break pattern, make the magic. That's my advice. Definitely in the middle of winter, if you're in Britain or in other countries stuck in the middle of winter, get out of that rut. Just go for a walk. I know it's 4 degrees outside and feels absolutely revolting, but I still force myself to get out and have my daily constitutional and get them cobwebs off. Look at this. Just wowski. So yeah, there's plenty of content for you to catch up on my channel, martinliedtke channel, and I got other channels as well. We got the Flat Earth British think tank, hard to find, but it's there somewhere. And I will be back in a few days. Flat a day and everything else is coming, and we got plenty up and coming in the realm of Flat Earth British to be excited about. So my God, how beautiful is this? I should have had some classical music, I was thinking, but I didn't want to mess my video up. Mozart slowed or something. This is in Paris, the Electrical Palace. Electric. For feast for the eyes, isn't it? So the world's fairs. Let's have a little glimpse of what was inside. Now, remember, I said that some of these are fantastic pictures, just to indoctrinate the public into new technologies. The later ones showing the electric and steam-powered cars that were definitely a thing before they all went petrol, but that's another psyop, just like the electricity of keeping you paying for fuel. Steam, International Steam Pump Company. So they had thermodynamics down a treat and steam power down to a treat, didn't they? Absolutely fantastical. No customers just yet, but the effort to put in the cases together, all of the exhibits together, and I mean, they got everything, like Republic of Argentina here to show you what animals they have, what goes on in Patagonia and what goes on. This one's Sweden, okay? Common schools. Now, the schools is obviously a psyop, isn't it? Because I went to a secondary school, not a tertiary school. No, the tertiary school. The other schools, they and the private schools, they have a different educational curriculum than the masses. The comprehensive that I went to. It was very comprehensive. I used to take my books to school and say, "Sir, can you tell me about that?" I want to understand, like, quantum physics, and they used to literally want to hit me because of this fact and get really annoyed and steam come out their ears and go, "No, California, here I come, back where I started from, Minnesota." So what's Minnesota famous for? Wheat and More wheat. That's why it's on the Corn Belt then, isn't it? But yeah, I'm sure they got other stuff going on. It's like, you've been to Minnesota? Yeah, man, they had wheat. So we got the Coffee Exportation Company annual mean. Is that the same mean? Yeah, I'll tell means time. Yeah, okay. 1895, 1905. So we got little communist stars going on here with laurel leaves around them. Why would they do that? Are these tin cans? Barrels? Maybe? Wow, where's all the people? So yeah, I can coffee jazz. Oh man, the coffee back then in the oh man, I don't even want to know. Don't even tell me. I don't even know how good that tasted. I remember the coffee shop in Cardiff. They used to have all of the coffee pips, the Cardona back in the day. You walk past it, you literally smelled the coffee beans around the corner, and it was just a yummy taste I can't really describe. What a fond memory that is. Smell-memory. And then you could just get a scoop of like, you have to have obviously a grinder for the beans. But I mean, the coffee back then, guys, just like everything else, was absolutely fantastic. Oh, well, I know they're not, but horses go neigh. Well, we know that, don't we? So yeah, they had horses for courses, and the old Model T Fords and all of these lovely motor cars. I'd love one of them just to piss around with. And we got some sort of Phoenician flotation, regatta going on the water. Loads of people. Let's hope they don't have some sort of capsize. Loads of people dressed as daisies get drownedikins. That would be good. So some of these cars are fab, aren't they? This is from Detroit, Motor City. And rebuilding a cave system mounting Mount Shasta affair for a restaurant. Check this out. It's quite mind-blowing. So people can sit in caves. Got places that are really like that in Britain. Places like Nottingham. Places like the caves under Bath. Everywhere's got like sort of tunnels under them in Britain. Look at that little bit of Tartaria. Really old bit of Tartaria, guys. Oh, excuse me. Let's have a little mag up on that. Yeah, that was really old. It's all dirty. So how did they do that? Just made it dirty for the photographs. Okay, let's move on. Oh, excuse me. So Mississippi, Missippi. I don't know why they use that as a spelling thing. What a bloody weird name anyway. Mississippi. Mississippi. It's an head fucking name. I don't like that they said in official narrative that the reason Manhattan is called Manhattan is because some Indian said one day, man with hat on. No, they never. That's just stupid. You can't have that as an official world story. Man with hat on. Name man with hat on. Hat on. No. I'm afraid not having that. That's just silly. But the world is a silly place, isn't it? It's a mad world, as you all know. So yeah, Sacramento Valley almonds. Oh, they're fucking good. Did I swear? Sorry. Hope that never made this video non-shareable. I don't take it back though. It felt good. Brazil. If it feels good, how can it be bad? Maybe somebody can explain that. Weird psychology. Maybe I just not thinking culty enough. What are these? These are hubcaps. Oh yeah, man. Fucking hell. Oh, I did it again. Damn, it's like Tourette's. Every time I think about something that I'm not supposed to say, it literally comes out. I gotta stop doing that. Especially in the hurty word realm. So yeah, ropes, they're fun as well. And we got some people hanging out in the tent, not doing nothing. Stay away from the Moonies and the Hare Krishnas, would be the advice. And they got all these steam-powered technologies. Taylor's Iron and Steel. I wonder what these things are. Wow, hang on, they're just hanging there. I don't know. They could be something to do with ship's engineering, camshafts, anything like that, couldn't they? But yeah, they are really anomalous when you look through these halls of technology. I don't really, can honestly say what a lot of them are. This one looks like a giant generator, an electrical generator. It's got like old world switchboard with switches and and obviously the belt being driven. So it's a generator of some sort, and I don't see any outlets, so I'm not thinking it is actually steam powered. So some sort of giant generator. That's what I'm thinking. So Belgique, that's the Belgians. What could we attribute Belgians for being famous for? Let's have a little think. Tasty chocolates, but life's like a box of chocolates, so often you just get pralines. But sometimes you don't. You get a delicious coffee cream or a strawberry cream. Lovely. Lovely, sticky strawberry cream. So, Mulhausen. Oh, that is definitely some sort of generator, no doubt about it, or compressor. But yeah, electric, I would say, because of all this caper and the, electric. So yeah, these technologies. Common schools opposite the Technical School of Stockholm. So what is Sweden famous for? Not having to have anything to do with wars, having super elite, ABBA. Yeah, that's it. And all flags come from the Swedish flag, so it makes them super important, but they won't tell us why. It doesn't matter. Something to do with the bloodline anyway. It just doesn't make any difference anymore because a whole new realm coming, isn't there? So yeah, car engines. Look at these. Stick that on the top of your muscle car. Yeah, just all lighted up Tartarian colours as well. Yeah, this is what we want to do. We're going to get like Munster type cars with big fuck off, like almost like hot rods, but not as noisy because some people got bad nerves, and that loud stuff. Just we got to be kind. We're gonna have kind hot rods. If that makes any sense. Is that nice? See, so you can have epic and kind all at the same time, guys. It doesn't have to be all like me. It can be us, which is much better. Arkansas. What a strange name. Ark. Like Noah's Ark. Arkansas. Or Aachen. Like Akhenaten. Oh. And it's like a dome. Like the Arabs. The Egyptians in America. Wow. Wowsy. What is it? Don't know. Some sort of, this is for Canada. Some grassy thing. So, Canada. What's Canada famous for? Ceylon Dion. Blech. Brian Adams is good. He's Canadian. So's Neil Young. It's disappointing, isn't he? After Rona, they all showed their colours, didn't they? And other famous Canadian things. Due South, Mounties. I used to have an action man with a Mountie suit when I was a kid. I still love the Mountie suit. Thought it was awesome. Good guns as well. Yeah, let's move on. Westernhouse. So this is where Westernhouse, the electrical guy, lived. Just like Peter the Great, he lived in a log cabin, yet he built massive cities. That's what they say for Peter the Great. He's like lived in a log cabin, guys, and then he's built these like, the Hermitage, the Winter Palace in Leningrad. Petersburg. Stupid. Is this the Brits? Oh, it's the Brits. Let's have a look. What are the Brits famous for? Fish and chips. Yeah. What else are they famous for? South Wales, eh? Yeah. Oh, Australia. It's all right. They're good too. Oh, it is New South Wales. I thought it was my South Wales. It's all right. We're both South Wales. Any New South Walians? We're like bros and sisters, bro. Sisters. Yeah. We're like homies. Almost the same, innit? Chains and other chains and hooks. Chains and hooks are really good, especially if you're in an engine room. You need them. Definitely need chains and hooks. I mean, this is just somebody drying their bundies and stuff in some random house. Why would they take a photograph of that? It's weird, isn't it? Catholic University of America. Okay. Secondary school. So yeah, I mentioned them earlier. I went to a comprehensive sometimes, not often though. I had the worst truancy rate, me and another kid in the whole school. There was 1,300 pupils, so I was pretty prolific at not going to school. I was really good at that. But after you manage to overcome the pain threshold, it's amazing what you can put up with in this realm, isn't it, guys? Wow, this goes underwater. That's what we should do. Voyage to the bottom of the sea, just have underwater bases. Keep the fuck away from them. Imagine the vibrations down there, none of their static. Worms, all that. Fucking none of it. It'd be just juicy. Yeah. Underwater worlds. Yeah, these pavilions are fantastic, aren't they? So if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. That won't hurt. Click that bell. Yeah, ding dong. See what I did there? We've been talking about bells. Click that bell and subscribe to my channel, martinliedtke, if you like it. Come back for more. Wow, I do love steam trains. That's why I love Fred Divner. He built his own steam train. Not the only reason, because he was fantastic, Brit. But there's something Britain's good for. You can't say, oh, Winston Churchill, because he was a murdering psychopath, so we can't really say that. But I'm sure there are loads of good things in the realm, and we're going to focus on them. Namely, the unconditional love and ignoring all the bullshit that happens in the world and moving on. Okay, this narrative, I conclude, the narrative for the Great Expositions, Electrified, is just fantastical. I think this is evidence that the whole world, the whole realm of Tartaria was a Technicolor dream. Absolutely fantastic. Just like the Celestine prophecy. So I'll see you on the next one. Make sure to stay epic, and much love to you all. This has been Marticus or Martaria Fataria for today. See you soon. Much love. Pigs in space.